main reason we're here is to remind them that as part of the rugby family, they've got a huge role to play in upholding our brand, because rugby's got a pretty unique brand in the professional sporting world. And to also remind them that they're on a 50-year journey with us. It's not just through Junior Gold, but we see them as the future of rugby. The really big focus that the Australian Rugby Union have hammered for years is the notion of respect for women. That's one of our big angles. One of the reasons is we feel it's an issue that society really has to confront, and it takes men to confront the issue. And the other thing is, from a purely pragmatic perspective, the one thing that rugby's done really well in comparison to a lot of other sports is we've maintained a pretty good record over that area. And we're determined that we're not going to have a scandal involving disrespectful women. And if we can get to the young lads early enough, we can create a culture where it's just part of their upbringing, where respect for women is a paramount issue for them. It's got to be aimed at their level, it's got to be in their jargon. The stories and the anecdotes and the role plays have to be things that engage them. They come in here expecting a high school lecture sort of thing, so it's my role to get them out of that comfort zone as soon as possible and make them realise that this is about real world stuff. So we do bring into focus a lot of things that they're dying to ask and they're dying to talk about, but no one confronts that in a school environment. So this is about saying to them, you are grown men, and we're going to talk to you just like grown men. It's going to be a pretty confronting session, and the boys walk out sort of going, whoa, that was a bit tough, but hopefully it'll leave some sort of imprint on them. With the leaders we have in rugby, and rugby is so uniquely positioned to capitalise on that. You've got the David Pococks and the Stephen Moores and people like that. Wonderful brand, and therefore we can leverage off their real examples. In some other sports it's tougher because while the organisation provides the mantra, you see too many newspaper headlines which contradict that. But with rugby we know that apart from the odd, very few, the odd contradiction, our leaders, the people that are in the media spotlight, the men that these young boys aspire to become, are wonderful role models, and certainly the Brumbies are right up there in terms of their role models because their men tend to be some of the leaders amongst the Wallaby camp. Rugby is utterly genuine about the fact that this matters, and also rugby has a fairly strict regime that certainly for the 17s and Junior Gold Cup, yes, we want to educate you, but this is also a warning message: zero tolerance. If you mess up on tour with Junior Gold, you will be taken straight back to the airport. There is no sense of we'll sort of cut you slack. So it's a fairly brutal message. We're trying to educate you, but at the same time, this is a very clear indication that there is a zero tolerance policy, especially when it comes to respect for women.